Hello, it's Mark Grogan from O'Neill Real Estate, and this is number 4 Huxley Court in Camillo, and we have got ourselves one, well, one that needs a little bit of work, but it's one that is worth doing the work too, because wait till you see the size of this thing. It is absolutely brilliant. 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a thumping big living space. We are going to go and see all of that in a whole bunch of detail. And not only are we going to see it in a whole bunch of detail, we're going to go room by room and see each room with a whole bunch of detail. I'm going to show you as much as I can for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you might only be able to see this via video, and I want to give you as much information as you can if you can't make it to see it in person. Or otherwise, maybe you can make it in person, and you're going, when I went there were a whole bunch of people. How big was, what was that again? I'm just trying to give you all the details. That's basically what I'm saying. To see the floor plan of this one, you can go to markgrogan.com.au where we have the detailed floor plan, a whole bunch more photos, a whole bunch more information. And look, I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but even details on how to make an offer, because I think that is something worth doing with this one. It is a good house, solid as a rock, and worth saving, is my opinion. I mean, when I say worth saving, it's absolutely worth saving. This house is fine. It's just cosmetically not fine. That doesn't mean that it is not ready for you to get in here and turn it around. So we'll start inside and we'll make our way out after that. Now, of course, you might have watched a video with me before. I'm going to say this: skip along at your own pace if it's taking too long. I'm going to take as long as I reckon we need just to go, and show you pretty much everything. It's basically I tell you what I think I should tell you as I see things. I really don't have a plan for this. I have no idea how long it will go. One thing I do plan to do is just give you a moment to take in the size of this mammoth room. It is huge. There is so much space on offer in this part of the home. Look at that. One thing I think you should also do is do a little bit more lighting. But the era, right? So this is built in the 70s. It's the clinker brick, and a heckin' lot of it as well. This is the entrance. Big double door entry. This was a good quality home in its day. This would have been an absolute showstopper. At the moment, it looks like the show stopped somewhere along the line, and there it got stuck. So you've seen that big room. This is the other living space through here. Again, we'll explore in a bit more detail in a moment. And main bedroom over here. Backing it up. Secondary bedrooms down here. Does that kind of make a bit of sense now? Gives you a bit of an idea of the floor plan, gives you some context of what is on offer. You can link that up with what you see on the floor plan. Alrighty, so we're going to go back and start at the front and work our way through. Alright, so we're at the entrance. Now, a couple of things. I mean, obviously, you might have seen that as I was chatting away out the front. Hey, it needs a gutter clean. But then you look back here, and there's none of that water damage in here. So that's just, if you know anything about houses, you'll know that the eaves are really, that's just cosmetic, superficial stuff that's going on there. The moss on the bricks, probably evidence of the fact that the water's been running down those. So we'll go through and do living areas, then we'll do bedrooms. How about that? And this is the kitchen, as evidenced by the oven. It's always a giveaway. And the design of this is actually pretty practical. I mean, when it stands like this, I guess in a modern day context, to build a pantry that's not that big and to take up so much floor space, probably not how you do it now. It worked at the time. You could very likely, and I'm not an engineer. In fact, I'm not even an engineer's ear. I really am not an engineer at all. My Lego projects, quite crap. But my art project's fantastic. I have a lot of the ideas for the cosmetic side of things. And as we've already discussed, it's mostly cosmetic here. One engineer cosmetic thing I would do is knock that out and put in something a little bit more substantial in the way of bench space and kind of open this up a bit, because that is a fairly heavy clinker brick object sitting in the middle of the kitchen area there. But hey, that was the vibe in the 70s. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. These are just my thoughts. We're exploring things as we go. Have you hit the mute button yet? I don't know whether or not you need to have my ideas or you've got them for yourself. I'm just going to tell you what I reckon's worth it from the perspective of increasing the value of the property, because, hey, let's face it, we're all into that. Apart from maybe, the odd Greens voter. But that's because they don't have one. Not all of them, I'm just saying. I'm not having a go, I'm just talking policy. So the kitchen, plenty of room to work with along this bench. Room for that 900mm oven. More space over this side. It's serviceable as it stands, okay? So you can use it as it is. It's not like it desperately needs it tomorrow, but yeah, it's certainly gonna look better with that done. This cupboard here would have been where I imagine the original, just going from similar things in that time, the wall oven would have been there in that space, and that would have been some more cupboards with the stovetop built into the bench, and then an exhaust fan. That's my guess as to what was going on before. That's why you've got the, I guess I can use the word, random cupboard. Good sized fridge recess. Whoever built this back in the day, this was a higher end home. They were classy people. I reckon they went with the double fridge. They might have had 2 fridges there, because that was wider than the average fridge back in the 70s, that is for sure. These days, that's kind of, you know, even still bigger than the average fridge. So good space there. All of this meals area through here, very practical, a good size, nice flow through here. You're gonna brighten that up. I mean, clinker brick, I actually don't mind, personally, the clinker brick, a little bit. It is a lot as it stands. You can actually lighten it up by lights, by the way, and also lighten it up by, you know, the way you furnish the house. So I'm not saying you've got to get rid of it. It has some appeal. Maybe not to you, maybe so much to you. Maybe you were offended by the thought that I suggested that people cover it up. I mean, I'm just throwing ideas out there, okay? This is the internet. Everyone's got different thoughts. Actually, no, they don't. A lot of them are just recycling the same thoughts. You probably have different thoughts because you're a thinker. That is a bloomin' big air conditioner, and I don't know whether or not that's what it says on the side, but that is... Do you know anything about air conditioners? I'm going to just do that so you can sort of see what we're dealing with there. Big aircon. One thing I'm going to point out is it's an as-is, where-is sale. So what you see is what you get. There are some quite new aircons through the house. There's all sorts of things around this house, but it's all being sold as is, where is. So if you press a button and that thing don't start, it is what it is. It's priced like it is because it is what it is. If it wasn't what it is, it wouldn't be priced like it is. It'd be priced like it isn't because it would be what it isn't. Does that make sense? This is the main bedroom, a very, very big space. Like, seriously, this is huge. I mean, not tastefully decorated, I gotta say, but that's where you come in. We've got the ingredients, you can add the taste. Make it taste like you want it to taste. In here, not so tasty, kind of funky, but I think it's been closed up, and why this is a cupboard and not an ensuite, don't ask me. I don't know, but I reckon, well, in the 70s, it wasn't so much about the ensuite bathrooms. I don't think they showered as much. I wasn't around in the 70s. I was from the 80s onwards. But it wasn't a big thing to necessarily have the ensuite. They had this enormous space, but no ensuite. That's an external wall just there. So, you know, in terms of doing plumbing and stuff like that, folks, you got some options. That's all I'm saying. Again, I'm not an engineer, but I do know what I like. And I do like the idea that you could convert that to an ensuite. And bear in mind, this is again, you didn't sign up for this, did you? Real Estate Agent Opinions. Unfortunately, this is my channel, and I'm gonna go ahead and give them to you. If you don't like them, please press mute or skip along. You can also change the speed at which this tour is going with the little settings thing there. If you're watching it on YouTube, pay for YouTube Premium and it can go 3 times faster. Just in case you're trying that, I'm going to talk slowly for the rest of it. That would be a great walk-in, built-in wardrobe all along there. Pretty much in the line with the eaves. Built-in wardrobe. Fantastic. It has a floor safe. I didn't know we were going to find that. Ooh. Now this is feeling very faulty towers. On the safe, there's some bricks. More bricks here. More bricks there. It's just a pile of bricks. Now, what is the go with that? I don't know. It's a floor safe with some bricks. I don't know. I guess, you know, because we live in Western Australia, and this is something I'm going to point out as the context of you buying this property and why it's such good value. Have you tried building recently? It is so expensive. And in Western Australia, apparently, we have a brick shortage. So that's why you keep the bricks in the safe, because they're worth an absolute bundle. And, you know, keep it quiet, because if you purchase this property, you get those as part of the deal. It just keeps getting better as we go throughout this tour, right? And down the back, we've got another 3 bedrooms. This one here, again, a very good size. Lots of room to work with here. By the way, when I talked about the aircon's not working, I actually think they do. Should we test them? Are you prepared to stick around that long while I get the remotes and start turning them on as we go? Sure. But this room, I can tell you, from here across, we have the measurements on the cornice. 3060, 3007, 3032. Something's not quite 100% square, but it's pretty darn close. It's a good sized room, lots of space to work with here. Again, do the built-in robe thing across there, and you've still got lots of room to work with this one. Check it out on that floor plan. I'm going to grab the remotes. I know where they are. They're over here. There's the Hisense one. Here's the Gree one. All right, we'll go back. That still works. Nothing to worry about there. Okay. Perfect, it's working. We'll come back and see that in a minute. It's cranking up to 30 degrees. Quite a cold day today. I should have done that first. I knew that was going to be a positive thing. All right, so we have the remote. It will work. I think these are actually not universal remotes. Can I just add that later? Can you just confirm with me later on that that works? These will work, I'm sure of that. They're really new. You can see that that's not old technology there. Mark, you really should have checked that stuff beforehand. It's almost borderline unprofessional the way you're running this video so far. I'm not going to sit here and disagree. I just like explore. Oh, see, I like to explore with a friend. Oh, that's why. Okay, so that one works. That one works. That one works. Everything's fine, folks. I think it was worth sticking around for that. All right, now bedrooms. This is also, again, a really big bedroom. Plenty of space in here. We'll come back and check room by room that those aircons are getting nice and toasty. This is essentially the final inspection because we're selling as is, where is. And what you see is what you get, but we might as well at the same time find out what you get. I mean, we know you get the bricks. Why not see if there's some bonus air conditioning on offer as well? This is the smallest of the bedrooms, and you would fit a queen size bed in there. That is the sort of space that's on offer, folks. A very, very good setup. The bathroom. Now, this is the only bathroom, the main bathroom. I think you're going to do that thing with the ensuite, I think, even if not straight away, long term. So this, do we comment on the colour scheme, or do we just let it be? Do we just accept that one day our kids are going to take the mickey out of the sage green and the white, and know that by scoffing at the mustards and yellows of the 70s, that we're really just setting ourselves up to be mocked and scoffed by our kids? All that sage green, all those throw cushions. Why was everything made out of pallets? We have, I can hear it already, the kids are going to have a real go. Look, everything new gets old, all right? And let's just embrace it. there's 3 different types of tile in there, so you can pick your favourite. And we have a good shower head. That one's decent. And the soap dish, this is a case that the house has probably been quite well looked after. The soap dish is not broken. Those are always broken. Every time I sell a house that's got the soap dish like that, they're always flipping broken. That one's not. Good indication it's been cared for. We're off to a flying start, folks. And this bathroom has had, obviously, some like water damage on that door. No doubt a couple of puddles, maybe some steaming, and the door has just some flaky kind of paint marks and stuff like that. All right, that's what's going on there. Cabinetry, as I said before, serviceable as it is. Absolutely serviceable as it is. You can turn it into something completely different if you want to, or just roll with it and work with it for some years until you're ready to turn it into what it could be. Because what it is right now, you know, it's not sexy, but it is big. So there's a tremendous, tremendous sense of value in all of that, because big can be turned into sexy. We're not going to use a human analogy. Sexy is the wrong word. Attractive. I mean, there's so many different. Every analogy has its limitations, doesn't it? This is the ensuite bathroom if you wanted it to be, as in like the second bathroom, I should say, because I have actually seen this floor plan before, and they did have a second shower in here, because you've got the toilet. Yikes. Okay. This is a design. We're going to fix that. Can you fix that when you do this? Get that door so that it doesn't hit that door there. It's not a major thing. We have the toilet. Now, often when we're selling these as-is, where-is houses, there's some pretty disgusting things that we see. That is fine, all right? I mean, the seat's been left up. That wasn't me. But it's in good order, okay? So this is not one of those filthy ones where you're like, oh, I can't believe somebody was living in that. Oh, my goodness. It's not that. We'll quickly go and check that bedroom aircon too. Gotcha. Working fine. It's all like new. All right. Let's go outside because, okay. Now, inside, salvageable. You know the story. You know what's going on. Not amazing, but could be. This never will be again, I think it's fair to say. The swimming pool, pretty knackered. So it's like 7/8 filled with dirt. Obviously the weed height has gotten to a point that it was probably just at flood level. Yeah, look, that's a big job right there. And yeah, not salvageable. There's been, you know, bits of the fiberglass that have been hacked off. So, you know, you can get rid of that. It's a beautiful backyard if you just want some lawn. Want to put in another pool. I mean, there's a hole there once you take the pool out. So, I mean, obviously, the major hole has been dug. You can put another pool in here if you want to. You've got to get rid of what's in it currently. But at least once that pool's lifted out, it's nice and neat. So that's doable. I mean, I don't want to be here for that particular busy bee, and I am busy that weekend. But we have the makings of something very good. A couple old crocus palms. A couple of dead trees. Things that ain't perfect, for sure. All the power and filtration system and everything's over there still from when the pool was in order. Crikey, we've been going for 20 minutes with this. You reckon this guy might just want to speed it up in the future, hey? But that's all there. Bit of graph on the side of the pool, thanks to some artistic talent. Like I said before, I'd consider myself to be a bit of an artist. I wouldn't have done it that way personally, but art is art, and I wouldn't dare question the artist. I think that was done with intention and care, and there was a message in it, but I just think it could have been better executed. That's just a personal thing. This is the rest of the backyard. You've got the patio across that back section of the house, across that huge living space, really. It covers that. So it kind of integrates the indoor and the outdoor between the living space as well as alongside that meals area. And all of this paving out here. Back in its day, this would have been absolutely brilliant. Not so brilliant now, but, you know, the makings of brilliant things, that hasn't changed. You've got the big house, you've got all the space, you've got room to get stuff done, and at the end, a justifiable investment in getting it over the line. Because you're still, you know, there's some houses that are just like so poxy, you're like, yeah, like you've made it nice, but still pretty poxy. Here, no. You put the time in, you put the effort in, you've got yourself a big house that's basically brand new. Oh, there's some more bricks there. I don't know why these ones aren't in the safe, but there's some more bricks, which is super, super handy. That's really cool. They've got water on them, which doesn't make them worth more, but that is such a bonus to have that. Don't tell anyone. All right, alongside here, this is the back of the laundry, or, you know, other second bathroom if you wanted to. I think do the one off the back of the main bedroom, by the way. But just to give you, like, we're already 20 minutes in, what the heck. Might as well just keep going on. We've got this window here that has some broken glass, but that is the back of that bedroom wardrobe thing that I suggested would be a good ensuite. All the plumbing is already out on this side of the house. So there's water there. That's the kitchen. There's drainage. And it's all pavers. So you've got to lift it up, do the plumbing stuff, make it happen. Hot water system's out on this side as well. It's gas, instantaneous gas hot water system. That's all cool. I don't know what the go is with this stuff, by the way. This is it's all marble, like pieces of marble that have evidently been salvaged from somewhere, but pretty cool. Again, as an artist, I can see things that we could do with that. Little garden shed. Not much to say about that, which is surprising because evidently there's been lots to say about everything else. Now, out on this side, this is ideal parking for, I reckon you'd get some caravans down here. Not some caravans as in like multiple caravans, but there are some types of caravan that would fit down this side, and additional parking, trailers, all that jazz, that'll fit down there. This is the back of that super big lounge room, and there's that aircon compressor, by the way, doing its thing. Again, not old, that's that big unit we were talking about before. And the property has NBN. Fibre to the house connected. It's possibly why some stuff didn't get done here for some years. I don't really know all the ins and outs of why some things didn't get done. But there's a lot of good stuff to watch on Netflix these days. Perhaps the speed of the internet was too good. I don't know. I haven't tested it. Maybe that's the reason for it. Loads of parking here. Obviously, you've got a great big block, and the front is currently fenced, albeit a bit haphazard with the gates and stuff like that, but it is currently fenced. Location is such an important factor. Skip along, all right, because I'm going to walk. So I'll talk along the way. So, I mean, you can hang around if you want to. But if you're like, dude, just get to the point, which I think if you're here at this point, I think that ship sailed a while ago. I say that ship sailed, maybe that bus left a while ago, because we're heading here, just around the corner. You've got Groveland's Primary School. You've got all kinds of practicalities to this. I said that bus has left because there's a bus stop right there, and there's another one right there. Now, I don't catch a lot of buses, but that does go around to the Kelmscott train station, I believe, eventually. And Also in and around Kelmscott, you've got Kelmscott Senior High School, that bus can get you closer to. And if you kind of walk around the corner here, see that corner there? That intersection, turn left, and you're pretty much at Groveland's Primary School with a few more steps up the street. So that's super practical. And then Champion Lakes, world-class rowing facility, is not far around the corner. So if you go up that way, you are right near Champion Lakes. So that's Lake Road over there. Just up there, that's Lake Road. And that's the Champion Lakes rowing facility just behind all of that. Stunning walk trails. You've got the like 5Ks of paved cycle path and walkway going around the lake. Big events that get held there. That's all right on your doorstep in this super practical location. Now, I didn't need to walk there. You could have just got on Google Maps and done that for yourself. But I think at this point in the journey, you know, we're all in this together. We might as well talk it out. It's a cul-de-sac street as well, so no passing traffic other than people that need to be here. And if they need to be here, it's probably because they live here. And that is a very handy thing as well. So nice, quiet location and not a lot of passing traffic in this spot. It is a beautiful place to be. The other thing about it is that it's an established area as well. So you've got, you know, trees, services, buses, schools, shops, all of that right nearby. And I say trees because I had a couple of houses for sale recently in new estates, and the trees are pathetic. Like, they don't do anything. There's no shade, there's no birds. Here, all of that, these trees are like 40 years old. Nicely established. It feels like a place. And this is the garage, as evidenced by, I guess, the garage-like features that you see. Sorry, while that was happening, I was just trying to work out whether or not I could get this to function. Assume that that's not working. I will, ask me about that. I'm going to try and find out if that works. I think it does, potentially. There's something flashing. There's power to it anyway. Put a new door roller on there and it's all sorted. All right, that is everything that we've got going in here. And I think you have seen possibly everything that you need to see. If there's anything I've missed, I'm sorry about that. I didn't intend to. I did try and show you everything. That is the full story of what's happening here. If you want to see more of it, or at least come here and explore in the safe for yourself, but please, I will be checking at the end of the home opens to see if anyone took any bricks, because that is a no. By the way, that aircon, you're going to have to trust me, that's 25 degrees. Very, very comfortable temperature. Go and check that big one. Nice and warm. That's really lovely. That's NBN stuff there, by the way. And yes, 25 degrees. A very warm 25 degrees. This is good. This has been very successful, I think. And, a very warm 25 degrees. It's comfortable. Look, it needs a bit of love here and there, but it's ready to love you back. That's the beautiful thing about it. If there's any further questions after that extremely long tour, if you're still here, in fact, it's Mark Grogan from O'Neill Real Estate. Thanks for having a look around. I look forward to chatting with you soon.